Hello and welcome back to Bourbon Barrel Talk. I'm your host, Scott Benton. Today we are back in the Brock Bourbon Bar and we're doing a mail call. So, Johnny, what do we got, brother?
Today we've got a very exciting small batch from Borchetta Bourbon. It's based out in Tennessee, Nashville, and it is a double platinum award winner, which is kind of exciting. That was their 2023 single barrel. We're going to try the small batch tonight. And would you like to know the exciting mash bill on it?
Let's roll with it. Come on, man.
Oh, well, I'll tell you. Can you guess, is it 3 or 4? Just by smelling it. What do you think?
Just by smelling it?
Yeah. Yeah, just throw it out there.
I'm going with a 3 grain.
You got a 50-50 chance.
4.
So you got 1 3, 1 4.
I've already seen the mash bill. I can't. I'll be cheating.
You're a cheating hoe.
I know. I'm not saying anything.
What do you think?
I say 4.
4. The answer is 3. 3 grain. 76% heirloom corn. 11.5% wheat. And 12.5% malted barley.
Did you say 11.5% wheat?
Yeah.
That is an odd.
It seems kind of high.
It's actually not high
non-wheat.
for a wheater, but it's just it's an odd percentage. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, most of your wheaters are
What
going
are
to
they
run in
normally?
that 12 to 16 or 12 to 18% range, and for it to come in at 11.5 just is a little bit just an odd mash bill.
Seems pretty,
Interesting.
slightly high on the corn, but not like crazy high on the corn.
12.5% malted barley.
Yeah, decent for the malted barley.
There's a lot of
yeah.
barley too, so I expect a lot of mouthfeel on this thing, a little bit of chew.
And I never really knew what heirloom meant, but apparently that's just where you have the different sweet corn varietals that are red, white, and blue, which is kind of nice.
Yep. It does come in at 40% alcohol or 80 proof.
Yes.
Ooh, 80 proof.
Yep. It's getting dangerous territory.
And one interesting note about it, it is fermented and cooked with local creek water from Nashville. So put your heads together to see where that comes from.
It's Nashville. Is there a main tributary in Nashville?
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a river that runs right through downtown.
Why can't I think of the name? Is it the Tennessee River?
I'm not sure about that.
Pretty good guess, I'd say.
Tennessee River goes
It goes into Kentucky Lake.
in Knoxville.
We have a scribe looking up the answer now.
Tech support's working on it.
I don't know. Yeah, fair enough. All right. Anyway, I'll tell you what. The nose on this thing's actually I was cautiously optimistic with being 80 proof, but the nose is actually pretty good. It's got a lot of different things running through my mind here.
Speaking of what's running through, Tech Support came through. It is actually the Cumberland River.
The Cumberland River.
That is actually goes through Tennessee or through
There we
Nashville.
go. Yeah, I just couldn't remember there being a main river running through there. But
It doesn't go like through downtown like Chicago and a few of the other ones, but it's like pretty close to it.
Goes right by the football stadium and stuff.
Yeah, but the football stadium's just a little outside of downtown, like
Yeah.
not through the heart of downtown. I know I'm
Okay.
being picky, but that's
Yes, you are.
there's like a really, really light, like popcorny like smell.
I was
Dude,
trying to
just saying
identify it.
that.
I was trying to figure out if it was kind of almost. I don't want to say like poppy, but there's something slightly herbal.
Yeah, there's a
on the
floral note
nose
there. Yeah.
that's good, that kind of overpowers a little bit of that corn nose you might get with the high corn mash bill.
It really isn't bad. It's a nice nose.
Did you did we get any idea on the age on this? Did they say it was like a blend of like 4 or 5 year old bourbons or anything like that?
According to my literature, let me see. Not that I'm seeing here. What about on the bottle?
I didn't see
we
anything.
didn't see anything on the bottle either.
All right. I'll tell you what, I took my first pull. It's actually pretty good. Like I said, I was being cautiously optimistic about this overall, but, it drinks a little bit hotter than 80 proof, which I kind of I appreciate because honestly, I'm not really much on a low proof bourbon, but there's a nice delicate, palate to it. It's got some nice fruit. It's all like that stone fruity, like peachy type, and it's got a lot of caramel coming through with that wheater.
Just kind of filling in for the previous questions, it is listed as NAS, non-age stated, but via the TTB, it does say that it's a minimum of 4 years.
And on this literature, it says blind picked by taste, no matter the age or type, for the best flavor profile. That gives them a lot of room.
It does give them a lot of room, but it's a small batch, so
Yeah, I mean,
it's
it's
a
not-
blend.
You know what's weirdly enough I'm getting a taste on?
What's that?
It's almost like a lightly caramelized popcorn.
Yeah, I could get that. Like I said, I got a little bit of that popcorny off the nose right off the bat. I'll tell you what, there's also like a slight citrus that's starting to come through on the finish. like that mid palate to your finish. Like there's a little bit of like a little citrus note there.
I'm getting a lot of nice spices too. Not hot heat spice, but just flavored
Baking
baking
spice.
spices. Yeah, little rye spice.
I am surprised at 80 proof that it has as much flavor as it does.
I have to give her that. I agree with you, Legend. I have to give that credit. There's still some flavors I'm trying to pick out. I'm not going to say they're not like flashing, flavors, but they're there.
The corn is still very prominent, which it's sweet, so I don't really mind it because every now and then I really kind of like that desserty type bourbon, and this kind of pushes that envelope, right? That sweetness, the texture. It's not hot. It's got a little bit of a Kentucky-esque hug. Like the finish is surprisingly long for it being.
Okay, I'm not don't mean to step on you there, but is that your finish mainly around your mid palate and just like sticking around your mid palate?
No, I meant like the finish, like going into your body,
Okay.
like the actual chest portion, not the actual flavor. I feel like the finish itself, the flavors actually dies off fairly quickly, but it's got a nice hug, like in that warming effect. And with as cold as it's been out here, dude, I'll take just about anything right now at this point to give me a little bit of a warm up.
I'm saying no joke.
Scott and Nick, you guys know a lot about finishing, don't you? Little solo drinking.
Well, Nick might. I don't think Scott's a big finisher.
Wow.
Says the guy that can't drive.
Guess who's walking home?
But
You're not taking me, so I'm okay so far.
But one of those things is that after a couple sips, it's still kind of radiating around the sides of the tongue. That I think it's that viscous that is just sticking around a little bit. It's sticking to that tongue, and it's staying around. It's not a bad.
Yeah, not a bad little pour.
Do we have any idea what the MSRP is on these?
I thought that it was around $49 or $54.99. So 40.
Yep.
Okay,
$40.
$40. Gotcha.
That's.
Yeah,
I'm impressed. For
for that price point,
that price point.
But at 80 proof, right? Like, you get a lot of bottles out of a 4 or 5 year old barrel. At 80 proof. You get a whole lot. So the $40, there's still a decent little profit for them. So good for you guys. I'll tell you what though, the more I'm looking at it though, I appreciate the bottle design, like the whatever the label is right there. I guess that's the Nashville in the background.
Yeah, it's a kind of a gold embossed, both on the front and the back, with it looks like almost the Nashville skyline.
Right.
Oh, it is. That's the Batman building, and
Okay, I didn't. I've been to Nashville a handful of times. I guess I never paid that close attention to the fact that there's the Batman building.
Well, I think it's the AT&T building.
whatever you want to call it, but I'm just. It's got the
Antennas.
wings, yeah.
It's basically antennas.
Gotcha. So, and it does kind of look blocky like Batman's mask, though. It's kind of cool. That's a. Is that what they call it? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, the locals just call it that.
That's fine. I didn't know if the legend just came up with that off the top of his head, or if he actually knew something that I didn't know. So
my daughter went to Belmont, and I
beautiful campus, by the way.
It is.
It is absolutely beautiful there.
Actually, my mother-in-law went there when it was more like a junior college.
No wonder you worked in so late in your life, man. You got to pay for Belmont. That's just expensive too.
No, actually, she paid for Belmont.
well, good for her.
I'm about to say, wow, you're still working that off.
It was her. It was her third college choice. So at that point, she was paying for it.
My kid actually looked at.
Part.
So what were the first two?
She was originally going to go to the University of West Florida, and figured out that it was 600 miles from home, in state, and so ended up going to Edison Community College, which is also the alma mater of Fuzzy Zeller. She spent a year at Palm Beach Atlantic College in, guess this, Palm Beach, and it was not the program she wanted, so she found Belmont and got her bachelor's from there.
Gotcha. All right. Nick's saying we have to do science, so I'm going to add water.
I did science.
I can't imagine at 80 proof I need to add water, but
the nose went a lot more floral. Like,
did it really?
I would say
it did.
About say double it for what you thought it was on the first round. It very much doubled that floral.
It changed the nose. It didn't. I don't think it did anything for the actual taste.
I think it just thinned it out. because I'm not
yeah,
getting as much.
I meant I didn't do anything positive.
Oh, positive. Yeah, no, it didn't.
It's weird. It almost went like barn hay, like old school, like barn hay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
like that alfalfa like layout.
Yep. As I say, it just seems that floral just kind of became very much more pronounced.
Yeah.
100% agree with you, Scott. Like it has that hay loft, but like the dust that you would breathe in a hay loft, more so than
I'm just
without
getting
water.
the whole barn. There's like that corn smell, and then you get a little bit of that alfalfa hay. Like it's it. But yeah, I don't think it really does anything to the palate.
You and your
made the
girlfriend
nose-
up
it
in
made
the
the nose
loft, and
Yeah.
Yeah, it thins out a lot. You don't get that viscous, or stick to the tongue much anymore. Some of the tastes, the main tastes are still there, but it levels off a lot faster. It's like halfway through the mid palate, it just dives.
Does
Yeah.
anybody think it's got more spice to it at the finish now with water?
I would say, yeah, the baking spice is probably coming through a little bit more on the mid palate, but not the finish. The finish almost completely dies now with a couple of drops. At least mine did. Now, I may have had more water to bourbon ratio than you did, or vice versa. I have no idea how many drops you put and how much you had left. So
Yeah, about to say this water got Nancy carried by was it Tanya Harding?
yeah.
Oh yeah, it just took it at the knees. It took it away.
So all right, well let's
it's much better without water than with.
Yeah, agreed.
how do we want to run at this? We want to
I'll
run
just
a number
scale.
at it, or just
Number.
scale it?
Yeah,
So
scale it.
1 to 10, what do you think? And you prefer it with or without water, or do you think it would go on a rock? How you want it?
I'll go ahead and go. But I'm going to put some little asterisks around this because I'll say, for being an 80 proofer, I will give it a credit of being a decent 7.5 for being an 80 proofer. I don't want to put this up against some barrel strengths or some higher proofers, but if I had to put this up against other 80 proofers, it's pretty good.
I'll take this over Basil Hayden all day.
Oh yeah.
Twice on Sunday.
That's not very strong competition, though.
But I mean, they're both 80 proof, right?
How about McKenna?
That's also a no-brainer. All right, so 7.5, Nick,
Yeah.
for being 80 proof.
Yeah, for being 80 proof.
Gotcha.
If you're putting this everything else, that might be closer to about somewhere about a 5.5, 6.
Right.
But for it being in the 80 proof class, I'm raising that score up a little bit because other 80 proofers that we've ran into really fall off. There's not much to it. They're usually kind of just like a couple notes, quick hitters, and they're gone. This one actually has just a little bit more to
And a
it.
little staying power, yep. Legend?
I would agree. I think it's a solid bottle for what it is.
Fair enough.
I was way more impressed than I expected.
Gotcha. Grant?
I'm trying to think what else we can compare it to for $40, $40, 80 proof. What else do you have on the market right now? That checks those boxes.
Man, very few bottles. I mean,
That's what I'm trying to figure out something
Yeah.
like that. So
I really can't put anything up again. The problem is most things that are in that price range are going to be probably in that 90 to 100 proof range.
Now,
but
yes,
80
yeah.
proofers, I mean, it's probably Basil Hayden class-esque. I mean,
Old Fitz 80 proof.
Old Fitz 80 proof, Barton's 80 proof. I mean, those are probably the only ones. Does Heaven Hill have an 80 proof that I can't think of right now?
Elmer T, 86, technically
Yeah.
$47.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's a different class of bourbon there. But it's also 86 proof. It's not 80 proof. But
Not better, just
Yeah,
different.
I mean, you can't really put Old Forester up against it because it's 86.
yeah, it's
Right.
86 proof too. Yeah. I don't know.
For the price range and the proof, I think it's solid. Solid 7.
Gotcha. All right, Tsunami.
6.8.
6. This motherfucker always pulls out some kind of crazy. I'm gonna go 6.837248948. Like he's like putting pi on the end of that damn thing, you know.
What's the Family Guy episode where he's on? What is it? Guess with the guess the numbers or whatever. Spin the wheel. What is that?
Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of
Thank you.
Okay.
I couldn't think of it.
3.14.
Bob Barker.
3.1416.
Yeah, I don't.
But the episode, some guy was like $1.20, and Nick was like $1.21, and he turns to her and says, "You bitch." No, but I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the heirloom blend, and so that's why it's a little bit. But like, I mean, all of you all were at 7.5, so I was a little more critical for that reason.
Yeah, well, that's fair. I think I'm right there actually with you, Johnny. I think and I'm not giving it an 80 proof scale. I'm just giving it a rating. I think it's probably in that 6.75 to 6.8 range. It's a solid pour, honestly. I mean, for $40, it's a small batch, 80 proof. We know it's somewhere in that 4-ish or plus year range. The bottle's a good looking bottle. It would stand out on your bar. And I tell you, the biggest reason why I'm giving it the score that I am, this is a gateway bourbon. I think you could give this to women, people that haven't tried bourbon, and they'd be like, oh, that's not bad. And then I think you could lean them into trying to experience other things that are out there in the market.
I tend to agree with that. That's a pretty accurate assessment there.
So
That's the thing. Same thing I say about Buffalo Trace's Traveler. It's a solid bourbon for someone who
It's a whiskey.
hasn't
it's a
had
whiskey, but
bourbon
yes,
before.
but yeah,
And
it's
a
definitely
whiskey,
a gateway.
not a bourbon.
Yeah,
It's a whiskey.
it's a gateway for sure.
I mean, that would be a good comparison. I mean, we were looking for a bottle that compares.
Yeah.
To get it, proof and.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I think that's our episode of Bourbon Barrel Talk. If you want to find us, you can find us on Facebook, the Instagram, or the X. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. That way you get our episodes first thing on Sunday morning. We know old Johnny Tsunami loves that Spotify. I don't even know if he really does. He probably likes
YouTube
iTunes.
Music, motherfucker.
YouTube Music? That's so crazy. Who listens to YouTube? Never mind, anyway. YouTube Music, isn't that the old Google podcast?
I don't know.
Because I think, didn't Google podcast actually go away?
I mean, they integrated
Google
it.
bought out
Yeah,
YouTube.
they
so-
integrated it.
Yeah, I thought so. Anyway.
I don't think you can trust him anyway because he's wearing a hat from the
Yeah,
bourbon.
listen, that's right.
Given to me by who?
By the
Fess
great,
up.
by the great one.
Oh, God.
By the great
the
one.
number one.
The number one. That's right. Anyway, thanks for listening. If you have any questions, make sure you email on the bourbonbarreltalk@gmail.com. This is Sky Johnny Tsunami, Grant, Nick, and the legend signing off. Peace.
Prost.
Cheers.
Why?